tell me what you really think about um, high-tech people, how they should be looking at the investments opportunities in the limited time that they have. You know,
Yeah.
so just give me share some thoughts.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I would think that tech professionals are highly analytical people and they like to analyze any sort of investment that they're going to get themselves into. And I think there's just so much involved, so much panic and emotion in the stock market, so much that cannot be controlled. Um, Whereas with real estate, it's not rocket science. The deal is pretty much laid out there in front of you with the investment summary and the webinar, and they're things that people can kind of wrap their heads around. You know, what's going on with that market? Is there is there enough population to support multifamily industry? That's a good question you ought to ask yourself. Is there enough inventory? Is there competing inventory? Is there rent growth? Is there job growth? Is it a diverse market? And are they making it an attractive business environment for businesses to come there? There's like a broad scope you can kind of analyze. And, there are websites that, I recommend people, get a list of websites that you can bookmark, like Justice Maps or City Dash Data. You can kind of have this little system that in place to kind of do your own due diligence on a project, so you're not completely reliant upon that investor's investment summary. Um, but I think you give yourself a better chance to see like that this investment is going to work. Whereas it's a crapshoot with the stock market, and I'm in a similar situation. I have one investor. He continually throws money into the stock market. And about a year ago, he said, I really want to invest with you. I see the numbers. It makes sense. I see the tax advantages. But, now I'm down. The stock market crashed. This is like a year ago. And, I'm just going to wait for it to come back. And I never heard from him, right? And what, 2, 3 weeks ago, everything crashed again. So I'll never hear from him. You, at some point, you want to get into something more stable. And the good thing about real estate is it pays you cash flow. You can actually see your returns coming in. You can, if you get enough of them, you can start to sort of live off those income streams. And you might be surprised how often deals or how quickly a deal will go full cycle. You see the 5-year hold and you think, oh my gosh, my money's going to be gone for 5 years. But you might be surprised in 16 months, maybe it's time to sell that property and you're going to get a big chunk of equity a lot sooner than you thought. And then the third variable is tax advantages. And sometimes people don't really get that. Oh yeah, tax advantages. They don't really understand what that means. It really does. It's a real advantage. You you know just I just did my taxes, right, and I got a bunch of paper losses handed to me. I'm not going to share the amount, but it was large, and it's plenty to offset any other passive investments I have. If I had gains in the stock market, it could offset that as well. I'm pretty much a real estate guy, so it offsets all my real estate gains. But until you go through that process, passively invest and then get that K1, I don't think you're going to really understand it. So um, try it. You'll be happy at tax time. How that is an additional benefit.
No, I think you said it right, Rick. Is that basically whatever information that you get for the stocks, and how much you can analyze that. I mean, I think I don't. I mean, what you said is not enough information. Obviously, everybody has different way of reporting and stuff like that. But you get enough information for any sort of syndication, there are webinars, there are PPMs, there are conference calls going on to discuss the opportunity. I mean, it would be, I mean, I don't want to use the word dumb, but it would be really dumb for me if I spend an hour and do not understand what these guys are talking about. I mean, I think that 1 hour of webinar itself is enough for me to tell, is enough for me to understand, how the market is.